let's talk about the new collection from Colourpop in collaboration with Twilight. The way they took makeup releases by a storm when they started sneak peeking this collection right straight into January of 2024. What a bang. I'm so curious to see what else they have up their sleeve. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of different stuff coming from Colourpop this year. There are two other products in this collection. One is like a body oil that's very glittery, and then there's also eyeliners, like liquid eyeliners. And I didn't really feel like I wanted those products, so I only purchased the palette, the lip oils, and then the two highlighters. Definitely wanted the highlighters because I love their Super Shock cheek. Packaging is really cool. I love just everything that's going on in here. Like, truly, they do such a great job with packaging design. So here's the palette actually, and then the sleeve for the palette looks like this. So love the pops of the red metallic. Very cool. Lots of attention was for sure paid here for this collection. And then here's the inside color story. So it is very desaturated. It is based off the first movie, which has these kinds of vibes. And then you also have this picture from the movie. So there's 6 mattes in here and a matte with sparkles in it. I hate this kind of shade. I just don't understand the point of it. It looks cool in the pan, but it's completely pointless once it's actually used and applied. Now, one of the reasons I don't really purchase a lot of Colourpop palettes, really not many at all. Maybe in a year, I think I purchased maybe 1 or 2 if the color story really stands out to me. But the main reason is I just don't really love the Colourpop shimmers. I find them very powdery and kind of dry. They don't just really... They have just a little bit of a sheen to them, but they honestly kind of just feel a little bit cheap. So I'm not really drawn to them because I do love my shiny, shifty, sparkly eyeshadows from any brands. They just really know how to put shimmers together. So in this palette, it definitely looks like there are 2 extra shiny shades right here. This is Edward and Immortal. Now, I feel like these are pressed glitters without being pressed glitters. I think they're somehow getting away these days with having the glitter particles in the shimmers to kind of make them pop a little bit. But you can see if you look up close that there's glitter particles, especially Immortal. It feels like a glitter, which is interesting because it is not labeled as a glitter, but let me just like show you an up close texture. It's just, there's just something, it feels like there's glitter. I swear there's glitter in it. It feels a little bit gritty. And it's also a little bit patchy when you swatch it. And this one doesn't have as much glitter, but it definitely has glitter particles in it. So personally, not the biggest fan of those. I just really don't love glitters. The rest of the shades are just standard metallic kind of formula. I would say they're actually a little bit more on the satin side. They're really not anything too much. If anything, Prom Night might be a little bit shinier, but I do love the color story. I actually created my own BYOP with my single eyeshadows, so check that video out if you're interested to see how I amped it out with some more special shimmers. And then the highlighters, I love Super Shock Cheek Highlighter Formula. It is just really beautiful on the cheeks. It melts in. There's no chunkiness. It just makes your cheeks look wet, so I knew I was going to love that one. So the shade Vampire Skin, it's essentially kind of like a white highlighter, and then Meadow has like a pink reflect to it. These are very, very smooth because I do think they have a little bit of a variety of textures in these. And then the lip oils, I feel like they look deceivingly better or like more opaque in the tubes because once you swatch these, they're very, very sheer. They're so extremely sheer and you can't even see the glitter particles that are in here. So do with that information what you will. Also wanted to show you the packaging of the lip oils. These are so cute. Like seriously, whoever designed these, kudos, you did an amazing job because these look great. And also would like to point out, I love the attention to detail, such as also filling the inside of the packaging. I love that kind of detail. And then here's the packaging of the highlighter. Same thing, it has the same design on the inside. And I just love that so much. So without further ado, let's get into the cheek swatches of the 2 highlighters and then 2 looks with the palette, and I'll give you some of my thoughts at the end of the video. So I'm first using Meadow, and I love their Super Shock highlighter formula. It is one of my favorites. It just looks so natural on the skin. It's pretty subtle in terms of just how shiny it is. It is not like their shiniest highlighter for sure. And I see purple, but I also see a bunch of blue flecks throughout it. On this cheek, applying Vampire Skin. This is a very icy highlight for sure. Super skin-like. Love, love this one. Also see blue flecks of sparkles throughout, but not like in a chunky way. They're very flattened on the cheek. It looks very natural and beautiful on the cheek. Priming with the Too Faced Shadow Primer. Taking Impossibly Fast on the outer corner on an angle, and then bringing it underneath my lower lash line. And then just kind of blending it outwards in a triangular shape. And then I'm going to take a little bit of Unconditionally and just take that onto the edges of that. And I'm just wiping off my brush and just kind of moving around whatever is left on my lid. Whatever is on my lid. Going back in with just a little bit of Impossibly Fast. These names are hilarious. Definitely makes me want to rewatch right now, even though I really rewatch for amusement in terms of laughing versus anything else. So I really like how that's looking. I think I'm going to use 17. I'm just going to pop that only right here. Just right here. Wiping off my brush, and then I'm just going to start blending that upwards a little bit. And for the, I think I want to use Edward. It looks a little bit like it's a glitter suspended in eyeshadow. So I'm going to put on the Specular Primer from Devinah Cosmetics. I'm really surprised that Colourpop hasn't come out yet with their own version of a glitter primer or tacky primer. They only have a regular kind of eyeshadow primer. And so I'm taking this and I'm kind of cutting it a little bit in here. And I picked up Edward on the same brush. It looks so pretty. Oh yeah, that's definitely got some sort of glitter particuli in it. I would be very curious. I don't think I've ever actually like worn something like this all day in terms of like the formula with glitter in it. It's a very, very beautiful though, for sure. And then I think for the rest of right here, I'm going to take Lion and Lamb. Oh, that's so pretty. Love that in there. And I'm just taking it out and underneath there. And then I'm going to take the blending brush and I'm just going to smudge this. Don't want any harsh line over here. Here's the finished look. Picked up Irrevocably, and I'm just going to pop that straight into the crease and a little bit onto the outer corner. I do have a little bit of dryness. Well, I really have a lot of dryness all the way around. It is, the temperature has significantly dropped in the last week in Massachusetts, and my skin is just not having any of it. I'm going to bring it a little bit underneath my lower lash line as well. So excuse the lizard skin, the scaliness happening. I actually am really surprised how much depth I was able to get from this shade. I'm actually going to bring in just a little bit more, but kind of pack it on first and then blend it. That's blending super nicely. I'm very impressed by this. Ooh. We have my favorite kind of shade, which is a matte with sparkles in it. Such a pointless shade, but we're going to use it Forever Young, and I'm just going to take it out here. Usually these kinds of shades also tend to be extra powdery. I just really don't understand. I can see the sparkles flying around, and I'm just like, why? This is so unnecessary. My eye just started watering, probably because it's like, why is all these sparkles just flying around? So I'm just deepening that up out here. Kind of a little bit of a smoky eye. I'm going to use the shimmer primer from Devinah again because I'm essentially going to be putting that almost all over the lid. I'm taking the Cullens and I'm going to put that right into the inner portion and then out here as well. And then I'm going to leave the center because I'm going to put Prom Night right in the center. So it's kind of like a spotlight in there. Thought that would be pretty fun. It looks very silvery, which is interesting because I feel like it doesn't look that silvery in the pan. It's gonna bring it up a little bit, and then I think I'm gonna use Ice Cold on the inner corner, Just going to pop that right here. Definitely should have misted my brush. I feel like it's not really giving a lot. It's very powdery, and I'm not really a huge fan of shimmers like that. Here's the second finished look. So first, the lip oils. I do like this formula. It's not my favorite formula. I do prefer the Blend Bunny lip oils, but this formula is very nice, very, very lightweight, very slippy. Again, these are very, very sheer, which is, you know, a nice touch, especially maybe these two a little bit unconventional kind of shades. But the red one is very nice, but this will probably not last on your lips forever, just enough to moisturize. The highlighters I love. I will get tons of use out of these for sure. I hope that if they end up doing the other two movies in the future in 2024, that they release more of these kinds of shades. I would love to see even more iridescent tones, maybe like a blue one. Would love to also see a purple and just some other fun colors. And as for the palettes, I had no issues with the mattes. I do like the mattes. I wish there was a bit more depth in here, specifically with maybe these two shades, or in the very least with Bella, I wish it was deeper. As for the shimmers, like I mentioned in the beginning, reasons why I haven't really purchased a lot of Colourpop stuff is because I just don't really like their shimmers a lot. And the shimmers in this palette, just for me, don't really do it in terms of the pizzazz and the sparkle that I like to see. It really would be Edward and Immortal. However, because they have the glitter particles in them, I'm just a little bit iffy on those. I haven't also wear tested these, so I'm curious to see how these would wear on my hooded oily lids. As for the other shimmers, or rather satins, they're all right. Again, not really my favorite, but if you like the shimmers from Colourpop, then I think you will enjoy these just like any of their other shimmers. But personally, I really would love to see them just amp up their shimmers a bit more in 2024. So there you have it. Those are my thoughts on the Twilight and Colourpop launch. Let me know in the comments below if you picked any of this stuff up from the collection. I would love to hear thoughts on what you think of all the different products. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time.